Hello again, hope you're all doing well. I'm mostly over the flu, but if my voice sounds a little off, sorry. As for this mug, well, at least I have a face for radio. Orders of protection. This broadcast covers the 2 published opinions issued in the last year and briefly 1 Rule 23 order. The rest is in that cheapest free cheat sheet. So here's a preview. Whew, and the hits keep on coming because a couple days after that was filmed, I came down with another man cold. It's been a crazy 6 weeks. It dropped me like a sack of potatoes. I think I'm on the mend. But as you can sense, my voice, it's barely hanging in there. So let me rush through this part before I lose it entirely. The cheat sheet has about a dozen decisions that I found from the last 12 months. Covers things like whether inconsistent testimony undermines credibility. And here's one every practitioner will find interesting: whether insanity, temporary or otherwise, can be used as a defense to an OP. So operators are standing by. Link is in the description. And remember, it's cheap as free. Now on with the show. How much interaction legally is required to establish a dating relationship? That conundrum is addressed in Hall. It's a case of boy meets girl twice. During one of the meetings, they have sex. Now there's a dispute whether it was consensual because a couple months later, the girl posts on social media that it wasn't. Names the boy. The boy then files for an OP. At the EOP hearing, he denies they were boyfriend and girlfriend, but claimed her social media followers were harassing him at her direction. Ultimately, the OP is reversed on appeal in part because the boy failed to establish there was a dating relationship. When this term was added to the statute back in 1993, the interactions in Hall might have been a dating relationship, but as the decision acknowledges, times are changing, stating, quote, young people routinely do not consider going on dates with someone to equate to being in a relationship with them, no matter the time frame, end quote. Now, Hall was published 5 weeks after this Rule 23 order, which is featured in the cheat sheet. Same division. 2 of the 3 justices are the same, but there, 3 dates and text messages between the 2 were enough to call it a dating relationship. So what's the answer? Officially, Hall states the trial court will have to decide that on a case-by-case basis, but that dating relationships will not include casual or potential relationships. Now moving on, we have the Deadnaming case. In the NITA A decision, a transgendered adult gets an order of protection against the mom. Basis for the decision is not what caught my eye. It was this sort of aside that was tucked away in the decision that played a very, at best, nominal role in upholding the manifest way of the evidence. That's because mom did a lot of things, but there was this one small thing she did. It was sending bank cards to the petitioner with the name used prior to their surgery. The appellate court declared this was deadnaming and indicates the following. 1, the use of a transgendered person's dead name is disrespectful. 2, pressuring someone not to express their identity as transgender is not a reasonable or necessary purpose. And 3, in this case, it caused emotional distress. So putting this all together, it seems pretty clear that deadnaming can be a basis for the issuance of an order of protection. But how is that a crime and not more clickbait from David? OPs are just civil. That's true until you do it again. And if you have a prior record, it's a felony, which requires incarceration. Now, California tried to outlaw deadnaming back in 2018, but the courts there said, well, it violated free speech. Now, to be fair to the Illinois Appellate Court, nobody raised the First Amendment in NITA A. The court merely ruled on what was presented. But the decision raises many unanswered questions. Does a legal name change have to occur for deadnaming to apply? For example, if John wakes up and feels like Sally on Monday, then is that? Or does John have to legally change his name first before prison can be used as a deterrent against people who have the temerity to address that person by their former name? Additionally, could NITA A be used by women who have resumed their surname from a divorce but keep receiving alimony checks made out to their married name? Yes, it's not deadnaming, but denying women this remedy does create equal protection issues as well. Again, we don't get much guidance from the appellate court on how far this decision can go, so we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, that about wraps up this roundup, and here's a quick preview of the next broadcast. Practicing law or just being alive is a privilege, not a right. It can always be taken away for any reason on any given day. The topic is dissipation, but I started with that after-school special portion
because in November of last year, I had the mother of all health scares. And long story short, what I'm trying to do is to get back into the best physical shape that I'm able to under present circumstances. I'm doing an event at the end of February at a location that has really strict filming rules, but I'm hoping to film the next broadcast, at least in part there. We will see. I also hope to have a cheat sheet for that broadcast anticipation, but again, it will depend on my book of business and how much time I have available to me. Colleagues, so I want to say thank you for your ongoing support of the channel. It means a lot when an attorney just emails me or leaves a comment or gives me a telephone call saying, hey, I saw your video on this. It was really great. I really appreciate it. I do this as a hobby when time permits, but your feedback means the world. It's a privilege to be able to make these videos. It's a privilege to do anything in life. Cherish it. You never know when things might change. Anyways, let me not take up more of your time. As always, thanks for watching.